Hi everybody, welcome to Bob's Gauge Trains. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to be talking about little trains making a big difference. I have some bigger locomotives. I have some 484s, I have an Allegheny. I actually have two J1s, which is a 210-4 on order, which are supposed to be delivered November, December-ish. I wouldn't be terribly disappointed if they showed up just a little bit late, but it's all good. But the small locomotives make a big difference in your railroad too. Whether you do switching duties or sidings or whatever you have on your railroad, sometimes little details and little touches and little locomotives make a big difference. So I'm going to be showing you a couple of my smaller locomotives that make a big difference, and some of the small changes or details that I've added that just kind of personalize your layout and you know, make a big difference. Just a little bit of touch, you know, a little flick of the paintbrush here or there, or adding something here or there, sometimes makes a big difference. The latest locomotive I actually got yesterday came all the way from Hawaii, and I'm in New Jersey. This is a K-Line Porter in Lackawanna. I don't have anything Lackawanna. This is the first, but it's a gem of an engine. Has the brass bell, and of course the whistle up top. There actually is an engineer figure inside. The cab light does work. There are actually builder's plates on the locomotive right here. And for a very small locomotive, this is actually very heavy. It's all die-cast. This is not a plastic shell. This is a die-cast locomotive. So for a little guy, this thing holds pretty good. It is conventional and has no sounds, no bell, no whistle. But I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's a great-looking engine. It's called a Porter steam locomotive, and it's the first of its kind on my railroad. So I really like this locomotive. It makes a big difference. And surprising to me, it actually does smoke. In order to add the fluid, it's got the balloon stack with the screen on the top. You just take it off, add your smoke fluid, and then put it back on. So this little guy actually smokes, and it smokes not pretty good, you know, pretty good for a small locomotive. Like I said, it is conventional, no sounds, no whistle, no bell, but that's all good. I don't care. I like it for what it is. It's a great looking locomotive. But I'm going to be honest with you, I paid $109 for this locomotive, so to get a die-cast steamer that actually pulls well, granted a small engine, but to get something for $100, I got a bargain. And like I said, this guy came a long way to come and see me. He came all the way from Hawaii, and I'm in New Jersey. So we're going to see this guy and some other small steamers running today, and just little touches that I've added here and there in various parts of my layout just to kind of personalize it. There is no right or wrong thing to do with your layout. You let your imagination go and have fun. That's what it's all about. No two layouts are the same, and that's what the great thing about this hobby is. So sit back and enjoy, grab yourself a cold drink, a snack to eat, and enjoy today's video. This is the first of my small steam engines and accessories I'm going to show you. This is actually an 040 Porter steam engine. This engine was primarily used for switching duties and bouncing cars back and forth in a siding, building trains. This was by no means a mainline steam locomotive, but that's okay. Good things come in small packages, and I've been looking for a Porter steam engine, and I'm lucky enough to get hold of one thanks to a good friend. This is made by K-Line. It's in the Lackawanna Railroad. I don't have anything Lackawanna, so this is a new thing for me. I've branched out quite a bit in the last couple years. I was primarily just C&O and Pennsylvania, and those two railroads are one of my favorites. But I've branched off into Amtrak, the Southern Railroad number 4501. I have the MTH Premier GEVO, General Electric, ES44s. So I've kind of bounced around a little here and there. I also have a Lionel Lion Chief Bethlehem Steel locomotive. So, you know, I've been bouncing around, but it's okay. I love every single one of them. And they all have a significant contribution to the layout. And they're cool to have. This does not have operating couplers. It does have couplers, but it has the old thumbtack on the bottom, where you either kind of pull down on it, or if you have an operating track section. And there's no sound, no bell, no whistle, but that's okay. Quite honestly, I paid $100 for this engine. It's a great engine. It is conventional. It does have an LED headlight, and it also has a engineer figure and a cab light inside. And to my surprise, for something this small, as you see, it actually does smoke as well. So for $100, you can't go wrong. And believe it or not, the boiler on this locomotive is die-cast. This is not a plastic locomotive. This is a die-cast heavy locomotive, and for a little guy, it sure pulls well. So we're going to get him going a little bit, and then we'll bring him back. So it is a pretty cool looking locomotive. The start and stop is a little hard, but keep in mind this is conventional. But it's okay. I'm actually going to run this pulling a couple freight cars on the main line, so you'll get to see it going around the layout. The next little guy I have is actually made by Lionel. It's in the Pennsylvania Maintenance Away. It's called the ballast tamper. And if you look very closely, as the locomotive does go down the track, the dampers do move up and down. This is, again, in the Maintenance of Way scheme for Pennsylvania Railroad. So it's kind of cool to have. It does come out in multiple railroads, but being a Pennsylvania fan, I got the Pennsy. Comes out, I think, in Amtrak and a couple as well. I paid a little bit more than $100 for this, and this is, again, a die-cast locomotive. This is made by Lionel, and it's a great little piece to have. It adds a lot of pop to the layout, you know. And although not a steamer, this is very similar to what they would call a PCC trolley. A friend of mine had given me this quite a while ago as a Christmas gift, and I actually really love this thing. It is conventional. It's a Johnstown trolley. I'm from Johnstown, Pennsylvania originally, and this trolley is a Johnstown trolley. But what's really cool about it is Johnstown, Pennsylvania has little different areas similar to the 5 boroughs in New York, you know, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, all that. Johnstown is similar. It has several different little areas or boroughs. The particular area I originally came from was the Moxham section of Johnstown. And little did my buddy know when he actually bought this for me as a Christmas gift. In the board right here reads Moxham, which is the home area of the town I was actually born in. So although this is a conventional locomotive or conventional trolley, it's actually very cool. It's made of brass. It does, for a conventional locomotive, this does run very smooth, and it doesn't jump and fly. It's a great piece to the layout. It just kind of adds a little pop here and there, and you know, like I said, the little things actually make a layout stand out. You know, whether it be something from home or something that your imagination went with. But I really love this trolley. And the last of the small locomotives that I'm going to show today is actually a MTH Premier, what they call B28 switcher steam engine. It is an 060. It has the wireless tether, and it is Proto-Sound 3. So it is remote control with your DCS. Of course, you can run a conventional if you're not running command. Does come with a really great sound package, especially for a very small locomotive. We have the bell. And for a small locomotive, this baby has a really loud yell. It's got a Banshee screamer in it. And it does have the MTH version of a slightly smaller smoke unit inside it, simply because the standard big one won't fit in a scale model. But even still, with a smaller smoke unit, the amount of smoke that this does puff out will probably be very prototypical with the real one. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope everybody enjoyed. It's a lot of fun to run the little steamers and the little locomotives here and there, doing some switching duty back and forth, as well as on the main line too. Granted, they're not mainline engines and they're not going to go 50, 60, 70 scale miles per hour, but I actually like running my train slow. It lets you enjoy the sights going back and forth, especially with the steamers, you know, to see the rods and the smoke. So I actually prefer running trains slow. So I hope you got to enjoy today's video. Of course, the star of the show was the Lackawanna. It's made by K-Line, the Lackawanna Porter steam engine. You got a little glimpse of the Pennsylvania MP54s, also known as the Pennsy MUs. I moved the Southern 4501 from track 1 to track 3. I'm in the process of gluing people in and adding some passengers. Once that's done, I'll give it a rest and run something else, but I want to keep it on a track for now because I am in the process of adding passengers. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. There's a lot of exciting things coming up in the next month or two. I am planning a road trip to go to Clifton Fords, Virginia to see 614. If you don't know by now, that's by far the favorite steam locomotive I've ever had. I had the pleasure, the honor, and the privilege of working on the real one back in the 1990s, thanks to Mr. Ross Rowland. So I haven't actually seen that locomotive in about 17 years. It's long overdue, and I'm looking very much forward to visiting the C&O Heritage Center in Clifton Forge. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up. I'm going to see 614. I'm going to see the Reading 2102. As most of you know, Andy Muller in the Blue Mountain in Reading brought that back to life, and that's running. So I have a couple road trips planned, and I have a lot of work to do on the layout, a lot of projects to do. I have some time off from work coming up, so I'm hoping to kind of catch up with all my projects. But you know, a railroad's never done, and there's always something to do. So I'm just looking forward to a little bit of relaxing time coming up in a couple weeks, and getting to work on the railroad. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button and bell notification button so you don't miss anything in the future. There's a lot of cool things coming up with both the layout and rail trains, and announcements and channel changes, and there's a lot coming up. So make sure to hit the bell button to stay informed. Also, if you like what you saw, or if you have a question, please leave a comment. I appreciate hearing from everybody. It's always fun to hear from people across the country that have a mutual respect for model trains. So if you have any questions, or you like what you saw, or you just have a question for me, please feel free to drop a comment. I answer every single one of them. So thank you for taking time out of your day and watching today's video. I really appreciate it. Without everybody's support, I wouldn't have a channel. And the channel's still growing, and I thank each and every one of you for viewing, subscribing, or whatever, just checking in on me. So I do appreciate each and every one of you. Everybody take care, stay safe.